InShalla and Ashe, my energetic beings, and welcome once again to my daily snippet. Yesterday, a few of you reached out to me that the day was a little bit otherworldly yesterday. The planets were exploring us into new dimensions. Our spiritual dimensions are actually shifting. So once you are aware, you are on this ship, the towel, if you will, the hitchhikers to the galaxy. Our bodies actually go through an energetic shift as well. Most of the time, they're symptoms, but the cause, right, is the upcycling, the leveling. And we subconsciously are doing this all the time, really, but the magical hours are generally the witching hour or the wizarding hour. But there's lots of symptoms in the body, the mind, the body, the spirit, or even down to the soul. So you might even see between the realms, the colors, the senses, etc. So you might even have been seeing or feeling, basically all of our sensors were on, empathetic or otherwise, ringing in the ears, emotions coming to the threadways, going with the flow, watching a movie, in your own personal observation station. So just shifting frequencies to a realm that really resonates with our highest timeline. I hope that helps. However, again, welcome to today's Daily Snippet. I am your host. I'm a practicing holistic Sha'medium and subtle energetic surgeon. Merging these indigenous technologies, the spirit of the Dagara tribe in Burkina Faso, West Africa, with the subtle energies, the elements, and the elemental beings. Basically, the elemental realm into the imaginal realm, if you will. So I have offerings, rituals, and prescriptions to really add to the juice in your personal container, the medicine. But my intention really is to merge these indigenous technologies with the subtle realms, the etheric highway, to really assist you into navigating your prime directive, what's also known as your inner genius or your life purpose, just reintroducing you to and through the magical being that I believe resides within you. My name is Tonya D, and this is Sir Didymus. Welcome to my virtual medicine room. And if you haven't already, please be kind and do subscribe to my YouTube channel, Tonya D. Everything is Tonya D. Just Google me. But go ahead and hit the bell button so you're notified. And also, if you don't mind, like the videos so that YouTube algorithm will echo me out to other like-minded musers in the galactic universe. But being that we are in the realms of spirit for the season of Pisces, along with energy being in the in-between, the veil, today I'm going to be playing with the Seers, if you will. According to Webster's, or the online dictionary Webster's, Seers are one of two things. Either a person who is supposed to be able, through supernatural insight, to see what the future holds, or an expert who says or provides forecasts of the economic or political structure, which I found curious. Or at the very least, it's a person or someone who sees something specific. So tomorrow I kind of want to check out what an oracle is for fun, just musing. And for fun, also, if you want to just pick a card for your day, knowing that it's the Seers, the first, the second, or the third, I would go ahead and pause the video or leave the stream, the live stream. However, the first message of the day, there we are, which I pulled her before. She's the Four of Cups. I think I had her last week, but she was otherworldly. So it's this energy of really finding ourselves, our authentic self. Possibly we're bored, unsatisfied, maybe frustrated, which I think the galaxy is with the current threads, but just knowing that, right? We're missing something in the landscape, the present moment, the vibrant colors that are beyond our peripheral view. So often we become so focused on the internal perspectives that our feelings about a situation can oftentimes prevent us from noticing the arrival of the extraordinary, the otherworldly opportunities, and even remarkable things. So if we remain open to the shifting, just even ever so slightly, like even just a nugget, a piece of sand, in order to see our situation in an otherworldly new light, then that's when we learn that the present moment is filled with the most magic in the moment, the oment, right? So instead of focusing on what we don't have, focus on what we do. And even better, spend energy focusing our thoughts on the experiences that you will create in that galactic future. just taking time really to meditate, slowing down our minds. That's going to show us that life is really better and more optimistic than it seems. But it's up to us to really shift into that abundance, that upcycling that's available in the moment, in the thread lines of the now, just seeing life full of the rich and the fullness and the bounty. So this is possibly, I would say, a message of missing our opportunities for abundance, really taking time to kind of meditate, or even being a brat, if you will, and not appreciating what we already have. Maybe go inside, do some introspection, reflection. Sometimes when we're so stable, it leads to boredom. But I feel like it's part of the energy actually from yesterday, like getting sprayed off, spirit upcycling, right? Spraying off like the mists of sprays of time and space. And then we have the Six of Swords. So I can see that these are crows. They're pulling out the boat. So we're moving through a period of realignment. So things can truly feel turbulent during these times of transition, can't they? Just trusting that a better future is truly awaiting us. And on the other side of that is change. Fear is on the other side. Actually, I think magic is on the other side of fear. But maybe I sense it to be true, really. It feels like kind of a rite of passage, or a spiritual transformation is really on the horizon. It's an intense one at that, I should say, because we are in the 2 to the 2 Tuesday 2022, which I forgot to announce, but I should have said that earlier. Time's floating, or floating through space and time. Usually these experiences are profoundly personal. So we might feel as if we are alone right now in these threads, even when it's difficult to accept assistance from others, which I recognize myself this morning. So just remain open to receiving help from the most unexpected of places, Uranian energy, and allowing a gentle support system, a guiding system of the galactic universe to really move us through this oceanic evolution, galactic style, and lean inward into the silver linings that are on the horizon. So we could all use a dose of warmth and sunshine. Sometimes we often feel as if we are just like drifting in the boat to Neverland because we think we are ready to move on. However, our heart, our prime directive, is still anchored in the past. So you kind of want to ask yourself, especially if you chose message number 2, what old chapter really needs to be closed? And go ahead and chase the guidance in the form of new hope. Diddy's getting comfortable, which is juicy greatly. But the new hope, chase new hope, chase the new dreams, and really get ready to explore fresh new beginnings on the opposing shoreline. Just being able to accept help as well as we cross, this transition easily and comfortably. And being that it's otherworldly, you might be having resistance to change, carrying the old baggage from the past. It's really weighing us down or anchoring us in the muddle, the mental muddle, if you will. So transitions can oftentimes be strenuous or demanding, right? So that's kind of the message there. And then we have the 10 of Wands, which I don't think I've ever had as a message before that I can recall, but I love the image, right? However, all those responsibilities, do we really need to carry all those wands by all of ourselves, all of them at the same time? Couldn't we just drop a few of them by prioritizing, or maybe, just maybe, things would go a whole lot faster if we enlisted some help? All we really have to do is ask for assistance, right? And drop the non-essentials, anything that's weighing us down, the heaviness, because we are so close and yet so burdened, or at least that kind of feels that way, right? So think levity and ease, just streamlining will expedite our goals, bring relief to any overwhelming assets or energy that feels like molasses that we might be feeling. So sometimes this means letting go of a learned behavior or a limiting belief. And sometimes it means deleting a task on our calendars that's no longer serving us. Whether our burdens are material, spiritual, literal, energetic, whatever, it's clear that we've got some extra baggage right now. So it really is a message to release the ish, and enjoy those last steps as we get to the finish line. Just releasing our burdens into the etheric highway, the ethers, and knowing that the universe is going to assist us to really tend to all of those essentials. And sometimes, you know, we literally take on way too much. So this really is an opportunity to free ourselves from those heavy burdens or obligations, just finding ourselves close to a successful outcome. So it's kind of the need to prioritize. It's a message to keep on going. Love it, right? So I would say definitely like letting go of our karmic acumen. So now for the elemental highway, which I dreamt about these early this morning, knowing it was going to be this yang fire horse of a day. So we have this strong energy for the day. The wood is actually feeding or supporting the fire. Even though the tigers are supportive, the weather is still not very warm, if you will. It's currently in transition between winter and spring. So the yang fire is of average strength in a way. It's not like bursting. And the yang water on the heavenly stems is actually the most useful element for the yang fire born in a tiger month, actually. So due to the ability to reflect. So the yang fire is the sun's light, and also increasing the effect and painting this sentimental picture, if you will. So the yang fire shouldn't be too strong though. Otherwise, it's going to gain control over the energy of the yang fire. And in that case, the Yin Earth, which is a mountain, is needed to control all the water. The yang metal could be useful to produce more of the yang water, needed to reflect the sun, the yang fire. Where the yang wood, the tiger, is also supporting our day. And the tigers and the horse at the hour of the dog, they create what's called a fire trine too. So we should probably avoid maybe some Yin Earth, a so-called kind of Achilles heel, if you will, of the yang fire, our main element of the day, our day master, due to the energy or the ability to suck the yang fire's light and give nothing in return, opposing forces. Where the metal, sorry, Diddy's moving down here, yang metal shouldn't be overwhelming either, and yin water is also very useful for our day. Yin water would be like the mist or a nice creek or a bubbling spring. The reason being is because it can cover the yang fire, the sun, like a cloud, if you will, and reduce the ability for it to shine. So yin water could also replace the yang water in its job to reflect the light of our day, the yang fire. Hope this makes sense, right? Seeing how all the elementals get along or don't get along every day. But the wood energy is kind of unstable. Its roots still don't have a grasp because the earth is exhausted. So we kind of need earth and some metal. And being that wood is excessive in the season, it really is draining the water because it's at its peak. The wood energy is at its peak. So the water is weak in the season of spring. Still might be cold to the bones or frozen. And it doesn't have any support either for to grow. So metal is also needed to balance the energies of wood and water. But we do have flow. It's just not that it's proper flow. And being that fire is also dominating, metal energy becomes kind of blunt, dysfunctional due to the element of fire. So wet earth and metal are really both needed for our day to be useful. And wet earth produces more metal and exhausts the energy of fire, gives it a job. And fire is also consumerism, consuming. Fires rage out of control. The United States is in a need of balancing elemental fire. And being that our day doesn't have any output, more fires out there other than the fire which is hidden in the stems, we really need to balance our fire with wet earth and metal. And yin metal would actually, that's proper or positive leadership, management skills on the positive, forging of the fine metals, the jewelry, kind of, what am I trying to say? The refined voice or the refined words, like skill in leadership, not abrasive, I guess. So being that we are realigning our spiritual essence in the season of Pisces, if you will, we might find that where we once thought that where we belonged and where we actually do belong spiritually are actually shifting, or they're riding a new wave, a new pathway, right? So our spiritual self, it's time to open up to spiritual assets and really open up to these unlimited spiritual possibilities. So when we're ready to receive through our heart, then spirit, intuition, those intuitive gifts are online, and we all have them. It's just that they have their own secret sauce. We all do. And I wouldn't say that any two people are the same energetically or otherwise, because we're all as unique as our thumbprint, even on the spiritual side of things as well. So you too might be filling out what spiritual tribe that you actually vibe with, the vibe of your tribe. So nothing that we are doing is actually ever permanent. Our mind, our ego, they create a life sometimes of insanity. And part of that is that our ego aspect, our root center is wired. It's all about safety and survival. It's the bad, the negative sometimes. And we have this, it's in our kind of our inner psyche that we're born with. And it's telling us to fix something otherworldly that's going on sometimes, or even subconsciously. So sometimes we literally live in our mind thinking about situations, but as soon as we think about them, that's when this ego jumps in, the cosmic soup, creates like a magnet to attract more drama and cosmic chaos. And the body goes on little autopilot, and we live subconsciously sleepwalking through life, which I talked about yesterday. So one aspect is kind of freaking out, and the other one is kind of floating in the subconscious realm. So just acknowledging that this is just a moment in space and time. It's the subscription to the universal channel, sending out a new vibration, ultimately to be self-compassionate to ourselves, holding the note of, this too shall pass. My girlfriend actually has that sitting on her kitchen sink, and it's true. When we respond to life or have an energetic freak out or hiccup, just say that out loud or see it in your third eye, and it's going to bring things to the forefront that it's over. It's the end game. There really is no way out of Earth School. We all have a transcendence day, if you will. It's just how we journey to that day, how we get there, our personal transcendence day. So we create our own reality, and just reminding ourselves that things pass, whether it's a rainstorm or an otherworldly storm. So I would say keep in the frequency channel of what your heart truly authentically believes. So we really are in a year of upcycling in so many ways. I really am unable to put my finger on just one way that's getting upcycled. Could be a new group of friends, a new career, a new way of being, of service or in service, maybe a new home. It's all going to be new, a new action, a new character, a new behavior, a new habit, maybe a new body to embody, if you will. There are just really so many things. A new leadership protocol, not to put it out there, but Aries, the hero warrior season, it's on the cusp in a way, not to go down the rabbit hole there, but I was musing about this morning. It's like Sir Lancelot is at the round table with the knights and saying, he's ready to be this light warrior, this hero. So, you might be like me and have been feeling this kind of for some time, like a while. You've been really patient. Maybe you feel as if you are slipping into a different timeline or a lifetime even. Things that you thought you had let go of are in those threads. So it's like the breakdown to get to the other side where the magic is, the breakthrough. So it's time to follow through the cosmic streams, just spiritually flowing into our heart's cosmic streams where we truly belong in those streams. I call them the cosmic highway streams, but it might show up energetically as a karmic patterning. I've been working through mine, the deep grooves. Sometimes they feel like the Grand Canyon. It's like, how have we been treating ourselves on the inside? That's what's radiating on the outside. The strange part about yesterday's news, and honestly, I usually love the moon in Scorpio, but those early degrees, it was otherworldly. I found myself kind of bitching, which felt great, really, cosmic chaos. But I did a part 2 so I could actually run off and lift some weights and do some cardio and cleanse the cosmic threads, those waves. But the moon is still in the season of Scorpio. It's just in the later degrees. It'll be trining with Neptune soon, probably later this evening, I think. So our dimension shift, our dimensionally shifting what we feel, we spiritually feel. And the moon's feelings, Neptune, yearning for the other world, the spirit of this cleansing of our cosmic shadows. So how do we work through these emotions? We need to name the emotion, like I am feeling, whatever that is. You get to fill in the blank. right now. So I am feeling sad right now, for example, or confused, angry, fearful, worried, or, sometimes people feel like the sky is falling, or disrespected or undervalued. And then what does the feeling make you want to do? What's the do that the feeling makes you want to? So at this point, you're kind of identifying what the emotion is doing for you. And then go ahead and identify the cause. Like, what happened? You were blank, and remember noticing blank. So you get to fill in the blanks when I say blank, by the way. So in doing so, we are identifying the behavior and the thought. So when I felt sad, or when I felt blank, I was blank where you were at, and I blank the behavior or the action, and then the thought that came to your mind was blank. And then go ahead and challenge those emotions. Was my blank, the feeling, appropriate for the situation? Is the situation a distress signal that you can control? If it's out of your control, is the distress something you can accept or tolerate? If not, we got a blank. What boundary do we need to set for that? So emotional memories of a karmic time or a timeline in a lifetime that's no longer serving our spiritual acumen. You might have felt it too. It's usually a habit that we do subconsciously. We aren't even aware of them actually until the threads come in. However, at the chaos, we are always learning the curve to grow, whether it's physically, spiritually, mindfully, mentally, I guess, or even emotionally, the threads. So yesterday, those waves came to the forefront, the patterns, the cycles, and today we are upcycling them. Kind of how we conduct ourselves in our day-to-day, just shifting out of an old habit into a new. If you have triggers come up today or even yesterday, those are growth periods. They could have been a minor energetic hiccup even. So it's not how we respond, it's how we shift that response to be different. Just allowing the symptom to flow will actually bring us more space for inner peace and well healing and being. And Diddy, yes, is loving this. However, in the revelation, what we get is where we no longer belong or doing. So our heart is really the queen of our palace, and just allow her to be the light that guides you on what stays or what's eliminated. I have visions or management leftovers, really, how to manage myself on the inner world. So it's like the breakdown of my inner management system, a shift in how I do manage myself and also how I do treat myself. Relational, the garden of the heart center, the beacon of it all. So everything really comes in and through our heart space. So it's like, how do you or we or me spiritually love ourselves in that area? And, it might need some upcycling, some data, removing an old download. What or how can you shift or change an ingredient to really love yourself more? So really, we are in the village of ourselves to create or at least figure out these karmic patterns where we beat ourselves up and what is on repeat. So be kind, be loving, be compassionate, have some self-mercy, and be really less critical of how you treat yourself inside to the outside. So we really are in these threads. We're healing these timelines, these lifetimes of treating ourselves less than. So it's like it's like spiritual oppression, what we have been told versus what is reality. So, do the menus of the memo line up? Being that our crown is highlighted today, double time, I would choose colors that really resonate with the spiritual insights as you connect to spirit, your connection to spirit, the realm. So it's like these effervescent shades of plums and violets. Usually to me, they're the rainbow shades. And the sound of the crown, the ong, the sound of metal, the Sammy, the snake, and the who for earth. The Mongolian rock band, it's the who. It's a deep guttural voice tone. If you haven't ever watched The Who, the Mongolian rock band, be sure to check them out. And also, if you ever see them live or if they come to your area, be sure to do that. But really, all in all, show yourself an attitude of gratitude and really see how far you've come on your earth journey, and know that we are rising to a level that really feels a little bit otherworldly. However, we are cradled and comforted in a galactic universe, a love channel, and just stay connected. You are not separate. So I would affirm that I am spiritually upcycling my tribe and releasing patterns of shadowy karma within myself. Because the moon, the feelings, and Neptune, the yearning for the other world, the spirit, or cleansing of our karmic shadows. So how do we work through our emotions? Absolutely, name the emotion first. Whatever we're feeling, and again, fill in that blank. So at the moment, how are you feeling? Write that down. Whatever the feeling is, the essence of the feeling. And really, it's about releasing it and shifting the cosmic cobweb of the emotion. Like, what does the feeling make you want to do or make you want to feel? So, you know, just identifying what the emotion does for you is also in the doing, and then identifying it. Again, I know I'm repeating myself, but identifying the symptom, like what happened, and just noticing. And you can do this for patterning. That's why I'm bringing it up, is the patterns. So when we identify the behavior and the thoughts of how we're feeling, so, you know, what were you doing at that moment? Because sometimes, usually it's always subconscious anyway, actually. So at the moment, I'm petting Sir Didymus, and he's loving it. And in him loving it, I am loving it too. So for sure, tune into your feelings. Feel, you know, what it feels like in the situation, and just know, is this something you can control, or is it out of your control? And then energetically look at your boundaries. What boundary do you need to set? You know, so again, just musing about our emotions. And again, I'm always asking, is this mine or theirs? So thanks for tuning in today, and be sure to check out Soliciting Solitude. The coupon code is in the show notes. It's SS2022. So yeah, be sure to check that out. And InShalla and Ashe. Blessings to you, my energetic beings. And as always, I will see you on the other side.